Welcome everybody. The topic now is gear trains. Earlier we have seen gear drives. So we have some information about how the gear drives are working, what is the terminology that is used for gears. Now we are going to the next step, that is gear trains. Now gear train is basically arrangement of gears. We see that gears, when they start functioning, they are to be arranged in a particular manner. So once they are arranged in a particular manner, then only they are in a position to transmit power from one place to another. Now how that takes place, what is the speed involved there, what is the formula involved there, etc. All these things we will come to know as we learn this particular concept of gear trains. So let's first write down the definition of what is a gear train. It is a combination of gear wheels which are used for transmitting power from one place to another, or from one shaft to another. For transmitting power from one shaft to another. That is the definition. So what is the most important word here is combination. What is a gear train? It is a combination. Combination of what? Different gear wheels. The reason is for transmitting the power. Now there are four types of gear trains. Simple, gear train, compound gear train, reverted gear train, and epicyclic. So these are the four types of gear trains we are going to learn: simple gear train, compound gear train, reverted gear train, and epicyclic gear train. So there are different types of arrangements giving different types of results. So let's first study the simple gear train. What is a simple gear train? First write down the definition. What is a simple gear train? When two or more gears are combined together, are connected together, when two or more gears are connected together such that the number of axes are same as number of gears. When number of axes are same as number of gears, then such gear train is called as simple gear train. So what it means? Suppose there are 5 gears involved, then there will be 5 axes. That is, number of axes and number of gears are same. So let us draw a figure. 2 or more gears. So minimum 2 gears are always required. So the one gear, this second gear, 2 gears are there, and you can see 2 axes are here, 1 axis here, 1 axis here. So 2 axes, 2 gears. Suppose I draw many more gears, 1 more gear here, 1 more gear here, 1 more gear here. So these are the gears, one gear driving another, this is driving here, this is driving this gear, this is driving this gear. That means the power goes on transmitting from one shaft to another. So now there are 5 gears involved and there are 5 axes. Now suppose this gear is such that it has got internal teeth also, so there is one more gear in the inside. It has got teeth from outside also and inside also. So as this gear rotates, it is rotating one more gear. But again, number of gears are 6, axes are also 6. So this becomes a simple gear train. Number of axes same as number of gears. Now what do we do with this simple gear train? What do we get from this? We get transmission of power. We are in a position to transmit power from one place to another. Now when the power transmits from one place to another, what happens? Let us take a simple example. Suppose this gear 1, I'll call this as gear A, this gear B. Now this gear A has got speed A, NA. This has got speed NB. This has got teeth TA, this has got teeth TB. This has got torque TA, this has got torque TB. So torque, there is speed, there is teeth for gear B and gear A. Now what we know here is, even you can also add diameter. Diameter of A and diameter of B. Now these parameters, they are related to each other by certain expression. So suppose I write ratio of speeds NA upon NB. Ratio of speeds. Now this ratio of speeds is inversely proportional to diameters. So this becomes dB upon dA. Now diameter and teeth, they are directly proportional. So teeth T of B upon T of A. And then the torque will be again same way, inversely proportional. So the speed and torque, speed and diameter, speed and teeth, they are opposite. So if the, like in this case, suppose the diameter is half. Diameter here is half. That means suppose this rotates by 1000 RPM, then this will rotate by double, so 2000 RPM. Because the diameter is half, the speed is double. Suppose this has got 50 teeth, then this is diameter is half, that means the teeth will be half, so 25 teeth it will be there. Now here the speed has increased, so the torque is reduced. So whatever is the torque here, that torque will reduce. Suppose it has got a 10 Newton meter torque. The torque is 10 Newton meter. Say TA is 10 Newton meter. So TB will be, because the speed is double, torque will be half, so it is 5 Newton meter. Like that. So the expression what we are supposed to remember is this, that the speed ratio, diameter, teeth, torque, they are related by this particular formula. Okay, so if you are given a speed of one, you can find out the speed of other if the other information is given. Now what another thing you get from this particular type of gear train, imagine that there are, let's say, there is a case like this. There is one shaft here, other shaft here. There are two shafts, they are at a larger distance. And now we want to transmit power from one place to another, and we are going to use gears only. We are not going to use belt drive, etc. We want a speed ratio of 2 like this. 1000 RPM here and maybe 2000 RPM here, same thing. But here the two gears, they were in contact because the center distance is less. Now the center distance is large, and you want similar thing, that this shaft should rotate at 1000 RPM and this shaft should rotate at 2000 RPM. And you are going to connect the gears. Now what do? We are seeing that the diameter should be half, so that the speed will be double. So you'll fit one gear here of a larger size, and here you'll fit another gear whose diameter is exactly half. And that way, that means you are going to achieve the same ratio, and then you'll get the double speed. But then, because the center distance is very large, the size of the gear is going to be very large. So if the gear size is very large, what will happen? It will have a lot of weight. So it will probably become impracticable in some cases to drive one gear by another gear if the weight is very large. So now what do? We are making use of additional gears here. That means from here to here, we are adding so many gears. So suppose I draw this gear like this, and this gear like this. In between, you are adding multiple gears in order to reach to this place. So 4 gears are added, maybe 3 gears, 5 gears we are placing in between, so that the drive is transmitted here. Now what will happen to the speed? By doing this, is the speed going to change? Is the speed going to change? Let us see what happens. Now first take this example itself. Let us take this example itself. Here we know the speed was 1000 it has become 2000 because the diameter is half. Now in the same example, I'll just draw this figure again and separate these two gears. So gear A is here, gear B is now here. Same, this gear A is this gear A. I have drawn it small, but I am trying to represent the same gear. So A and B are here, and the space between the two I am covering by a third gear, C. So now what will happen? This is rotating by 1000 RPM. We want this to rotate by 2000 RPM. Earlier it was happening because the diameter was half and they were in contact. Now we want to see how to do it. We have got one more gear added here, which will have its own diameter. Now we want to find out what is the speed of this. So first take this pair. How do you write this pair? Speed of A upon speed of C. Speed of A upon speed of C equal to diameter of C upon diameter of A. Okay. So the speed of C will be dA upon dC into NA. This is the speed of C. Now let us go from C to B. So now we'll write the ratio for this. I'll write here NC upon N. I'll write B here. NB upon NC is equal to dC upon dB. Opposite, reciprocal. So what is going to be speed of B? I'll write NC here. Speed of B is dC upon dB into NC. But what is NC? NC is this. So if I replace this NC by this, you will find that DC and DC will go. And what will happen? NB is equal to, I'll write here, NB is equal to dA upon dB into NA. That NA I'll write here. NA which is here I'll write here. So what happens? This equation is same as what is applicable here when it was like this. When it was like this, the equation was same. That means even if you have added one more gear, whatever are the teeth of this gear, they are not coming into picture. Speed of this, the ratio of these two gears when you want to take, that time you have to directly use this formula and ignore all the gears in between. That means here also you want to find out the speed ratio. You are given a speed ratio and you want to find out the speed of this gear when this is given. All what you have to do is consider that as if they are in contact. As if this is not real. Imagine that they are in contact. What happens? According to that you write the formula. All the in between gears, they don't do anything. Okay? They are just, of course, they are transmitting power. But as far as the formula is concerned, even if you go on finding out the speed from one to another, one to another, one to another, and so on, then still it will be same as connecting this directly to this. That is the advantage of this gear train. That means you can connect the two gears by adding any number of gears in between, and you can get the required ratio. You don't have to go for a bigger size of gears. Okay. The only thing what will happen is, what is the role of these gears? One is of course to transmit power. The other is, this number of gears are going to decide the direction of rotation. Direction of rotation depends on how many gears are there. See, for example, here, if this rotates clockwise, this will rotate anti-clockwise. See what happens here? This is still clockwise. A is clockwise, but now this has become anti-clockwise, and that has caused B to become clockwise. So now see here, B was anti-clockwise when this was directly in contact. Now B has become clockwise because of addition of one gear. Now if there are two gears, what will happen? That means, suppose I have got C and D also. That means here, there is C and then there is D. Now what will happen? Clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise. So now this time you will get anti-clockwise. Same as this. So number of gears in between. If they are odd, you will get same direction. If they are even, then you will get opposite direction. So number of gears will decide the direction of rotation. But the speed will be decided just by taking the ratio of these two. Okay, so that is how you are going to analyze the first type of gear train, that is called a simple gear train. This is how it works and this is how it runs. You can find out the different speeds, even torques, everything you can find out by making use of this formula. Now the next is compound gear train. Compound gear train. Now what is the compound gear train? To understand that, let us write down one definition of compound gear train. When two or more gears, write down, when two or more gears are combined together to form a compound gear, and if it is used in a gear train, then it is called as compound gear train. Then it is called the compound gear. That means in the case of compound gear train, you will find two or more gears, they are having same axis. They are having common axis. They are combined together, their axis is same. Now see how this is done. Let us draw a gear like this. Another gear is here. We'll draw the other view also. So gear A, gear B, gear A, gear B. So still it is simple gear train, two gears, two axes. Now there is one more gear, that is gear C, which is here. And how is this located? I will draw it here. This is gear C. So gear B and gear C, they are integral, they are compound, they are connected, they are one piece. They are like one piece. So when B rotates with the same speed, C will rotate. That is a compound gear. And then to this C, there is another gear connected. That is D. Which we will draw here. So now you can see the arrangement how it is. A to B, B and C are combined, and then C to D. So when A rotates, because of that B will rotate, and once B rotates with the same speed, because they are integral, they are one piece. So whichever way B rotates with the same speed, C will rotate, and then C and D again is a simple gear pair. So C will drive D, and then that power will be now transmitted from A to B. B to C is already there, and then from C to D. Now what happens in this case? Let us see. What will be the advantage of this case? What are we going to get by this case? Suppose this has got 1000 RPM as its speed. That means NA is 1000 RPM. Speed of A is 1000 RPM. Now what are going to be the speeds of different gears? That is what we are going to find out. So we'll cover that in the next session. Find out what are the different speeds of different gears.